So yeah, they're pretty small. In case you guys don't realize just how tiny these heads actually are. Here's the vampire bust we painted. A couple months ago. So yeah, they're the size of his like belt buckle. Okay, so we're gonna paint a bunch of different types, right? We're just gonna grab a collection with our 32 millimeter. Yeah, man, doing another kill team, some scouts. So we're gonna just grab a random array of skin tones, okay? Things that we can use to mix skin tones. Don't worry about the name. It doesn't matter what is important, more so than the color. It's the mixture. It's how we mix. All right, so I'm just gonna grab a few things. I need something warm, I need something cold, right? So I'll grab some cold blue. We'll throw that guy over here. We'll grab like a neutral color. All right, something like that. Then we'll need something more orangish. Right. We'll grab a warm light, because we're going to do a few different kinds of heads. Grab this like steel blue color. All kinds of tones. We're just grabbing a bunch of stuff so that we can have a few different things ready to create the kind of skin tones we're looking for. Because we're not just going to do one type of skin tone. We're going to do a few different tones, right? And we probably need a white. Why am I doing it like this? Why am I putting it along the edge, kind of dark to light? The blue is sort of out of place, but that's fine, because we're going to just make mixtures in the middle. Mixing random things together to get the skin tone that we're looking for. Right? Because we're going to do, they're not supposed, I don't want them all to be the same. I want different looks for each one. Okay. So who are we going to start with? Let's start with this guy who's got nothing on him. Okay, he's going to be a pretty normal. Some of them are the smart paints, some of them aren't. Okay, so I'm going to take all this guy. We're going to mix a kind of neutral skin tone here in the middle. Like this is very red. All right, something like that. The Atom Smart Paints. All right, I'm going to start by just blocking in some of the more shadow tones on him. So like the side of the face, under the jaw, under the nose. Under the eye. Okay, something like that. Then let's just go ahead and base coat the back of his head, which you'll almost never see on these guys. And we are going to make big adjustments later, but I want to just get that kind of right to start. Okay, then I'm going to move up in light. And kind of establish where the main lights on his skin are going to be. So this one we're going with a bit more natural of a Caucasian skin tone, slightly brownish compared to more reddish, but we're going to add some red and stuff in here in a bit. There's a big difference between what I'm doing and like the typical like paint wash whatever, right? I am trying to paint volumetrically, so I will not be just like shading the recesses. We're trying to paint a realistic kind of looking face here. So getting that like underlying skull shape in is important. Okay. So something like that. And then we can find a middle value. Setting volumes. Yes, volumes is in 3-dimensional volumes, right? So there's two ways of kind of painting 32 mil. Okay. There's volumetric lighting, and then there's like recess shading. I'm not going to be just recess shading to create them. I want to think about the shapes. And when we start to get more zoomed in, right now I'm just trying to get like the basic shape, right? So the head's a cylinder or a sphere. His is a bit more of a cylinder, right? So the shadow, the lights on the front, as it moves around to the side, it gets a bit more shadowed. There's also a plane change here where it moves to the temple. So it's not just a instant change. Okay, so I'm trying to think about these subtle plane changes of the face. So that I can realistically render the light and shadow on his face. Okay. So that gives me like the very basic shape of his face. Now, he's going to have certain parts of his face are going to have, you've probably seen this like reference of like the lower jaw is more bluish and the middle of the face is more reddish and then the upper part of the head is more yellowish. This is sort of true, but it's not so exaggerated as that. Right? So this painting these, I don't use glazes a lot, but painting these small, very small forms, you want to, we're basically going to be forced into using some glazes here because we're going to have to make like really subtle adjustments. Right? So here you can see I'm working a little bit of red into the cheeks and around the nose, but also there's quite a bit of red around the mouth. All right, so I'm just glazing some color here to begin that sort of effect. Thanks, Purge the Fallen. Yeah, but it's not like a hard and fast rule. Like, I mean, if you look at me, right, in the camera, I don't have like a strip of red going across my face. It's a very subtle thing. And everything about painting these is going to be kind of about subtlety, right? We want to make high contrast in certain areas, but then be subtle in other areas to give a more softer look, a more realistic look. Right? We don't want these like super deep recesses of his face because that's not really how it looks. Right? So here I'm going to start to add some light to his forehead. He's got his brows, and I want to put some light there. On his nose, right? Some light here, right? We're basically painting this shape. The upper part of his mouth. Okay, so this one's small, but you can see I'm trying to push the light. Can you see on me? You have this nasal fold here, right? And then there's a light right here. So there's a light right here. There's a fold right here that's a shadow, so it's like a hard edge. And if I go like that, that shadow gets sharper, right? So you have the light coming up in like a triangle right here that goes up into the nostril. Then you have a little bit of a shadow that wraps over top of the nostril. But this fold, right, is kind of soft. So it's like a soft gradient that then goes into a sharp line. And I'm going to quickly need these guys to paint these tiny heads. And I will try and get it on camera. All right. So am I good right there? Maybe a little bit closer, something like that. How's that? Okay. So I'm going to start to thin that paint's going to start to get pretty thin pretty fast as I make really small adjustments. Right? And we're going to have to push the light on the face a lot if we want to make if we want to make it really stand out. So here on the side of the head by the temple, the brow starts to come down a little bit, but it's not going to be as light as in the front. Here he's got a small bit of his temple. So there's like a little crease of his temple. Let me move forward slightly. There we go. All right. So, fine adjustments. Okay. Now I can use some of this grayish tone or even some of the blue here to start to mix in. I'm going to gray this out. This is going to function as like the 5 o'clock shadow. Right, so his chin, his jawline is more bluish, but it's not really blue. It's more gray. Right, and we can carry that over into the side of the head to create the effect that like his scalp is showing, or his hair is kind of growing in on the side of his head. So he's cut it, but not like super recently. And we can even try and do some like scars and stuff growing into the cuts. It's not necessarily about thinner. It's about like the shape of your stroke and everything. You could do this with pretty thick, or you could do it with like stippling. There's a lot of different ways to blend. So don't get stuck on the blending aspect. It's more about the shape than the blending. Okay. Then as we move up in light, we can start to get a little cooler, a little closer to white. So quite a bit of this is going to go, it's going to go quite far around his head because we're moving across the forehead. And though it is kind of rounded, it's still pretty flat to the surface, right? Now see, he's got his brow here. I didn't leave like dark shadow creases in between his eyebrows. I don't want that. It's too much. I mean, it looks cartoonish when you do that. Which can be okay, but that's not the effect we're going for. Right? Establishing the light on his cheeks. On the tip of his nose, on the bridge of the nose. this little corner, and then we'll have to blend these together, but all of this will lead up to a very realistic face as we begin to blend and smooth and everything. Right, so here I can come back and add some of that skin tone back on top and kind of blend this together. Soften some of those transitions, right? We can grab some of the, instead of that color that's a little more orange, we can grab this like pinkish skin tone, even add a little bit more pink to it. Some white. Right, this is very thin glaze. You can see on my finger, right? Just how soft that is. I can remove a little on the paper towel. I'm trying to make very small adjustments. I can use little dots and things. So I'm going to start to bring these two together, right? If you look at my face, that shadow doesn't necessarily go all the way down, or it gets more subtle as it goes down. Oh, let me get back on screen for you guys. This is tough because if I move like a half an inch, I go off camera. Right, so see here, I'm not actually shading the recess, I'm shading the bottom of that volume. And we can start to work these in together. Little dots. So now it's starting to form that shape face. Bam. Okay, let's see. So we'll take some of the skin tone and add it to this grayish, right? Maybe a little white. We want to define the shape of his jawline. They have a very intense jawline. All right, so we get the cheekbone and the jawline. We start to add some light onto that. On the chin. So it's the small shape kind of on the side of the face that creates that. And then we'll work those two together to make it more subtle. Right, we want this shadow here. If I need more water, just get more water on the brush. Right, so I can create that shadow of the side of his face and then begin to blend that out a little bit. I don't understand the rest of it. The reference, Lord of Rights. Okay, so ta-da. Right. So we get that kind of shape in. And then that one gets a little small, so we have to make further adjustments. Hi, Christian. Right, we have to bring some of this light back. The magnifiers are definitely better than the reading glasses. They take a little getting used to, but once you're kind of used to them, it's fine. Don't wear them all the time if you don't have to, but for something like this, I can't see it at all without them. Like, it's too small. All right, so around the eye, I gotta paint. One thing I see done a lot is that people paint the bottom eyelid, like, I can't see with this on. People paint the bottom eyelid like either really dark or not at all. Again, subtlety. We want the bottom eyelid, but we also don't want it to look like he has bags under his eyes. Okay, so it's a subtle thing. We can just paint in the eyes right now. I'm also not going to do a black line underneath his eye, like on the bottom of his eyeball. The scale is too small for that, right? If I go like this, if I'm sitting back here, do the line on top of my eye is quite dark, right? But the line underneath this, the white of my eye almost disappears like into the skin tone. Okay. Rolling green, hello. Thanks for following. Okay. So I don't need a black outline on the bottom of the eye. It's unnecessary. Okay, so around the mouth, right? We want some of this red. So we can do his lips. This is going to function as doing like getting the lips ready to paint more reddish and like do the gums for the teeth kind of at the same time. The same principle sort of applies here with the eye, where we don't want like a black outline around the teeth if we want a realistic look at this scale. We want to paint the inside of his lip reddish. We might have to fix some things. I don't want to over contrast everything. Okay, push the light a little bit more. Nathaniel, hello. Okay, so something like that. We're gonna get a little bit more of this reddish tone, maybe not quite so red. Let's try and get his nose a little better. The outline of the nose here is really important. Right, we want to draw a like a crescent shape around the nose. So like the bottom of the nostril. I don't want to do the side, like the actual side of the nose. Okay, in like this super dark color, that doesn't make any sense. I don't want it to look like the nose is like stuck on his face. It is part of his face, but there is a dark line like here, right? Not just here, but like down and around the nostril. Right? So down and around the nostril, but then the actual side of the nose is not that dark. Troglodyte high. So defining around the nose, good. Defining the side of the nose, not good. Okay, something like that. While I'm here, this is going to be the deepest shadow on the face. Basically is like right up here, not all the way across the upper eyelid, but like, keep pointing at myself, right here, right? The Goblin Project was just the Goblin Project's still happening. It was just like more leather, and I'm like, you guys have seen that. How many more times do I need to show you how to paint leather on these dudes? So we're doing some tiny Space Marine hits, and this is not a commission. This is for me. This is for fun. All right. So create that. All right. Dude, Topulus, don't even ask. It's just a bunch of different ones. Various skin tones. It's all over the place, so I can grab whatever color I need. If I need a little more red, I've got more reds right here. If I need more yellows, they're right here. If I need more bluish tones, they're there. And so I can grab pretty much anything I need at any time to create whatever color I'm looking for. Right? It's not about should you stress about it? Probably not. Should you try and do it? Probably. We're gonna do it. What is that? Don Chunky Minis. Hello. Welcome. Okay, we still gotta push the lights more. We're just jumping around, grabbing a few different tones to create whatever sort of area of skin tone we need, right? So you see how I push that right up into beside the nostril? I'm creating that separation between the two. Thanks, Matalovich. No, I don't have the Darren Hahn microscope. And I don't think you really need one now. Okay, we can blend this together a little bit using slightly more red. This is very thin paints at this point. I'm trying to make this the tiniest adjustments. All right, so I'm softening the blends, softening the features in certain areas. I'm going to come back to this intermediate pinkish tone. And I want to have this shape of the nose here kind of wrap over the side of the nose. This side, yeah. So you get that crescent-y shape. Will you be going to MFCA again this year? Yes, I will. I will be. This is the first time you guys are hearing it. I will be judging MFCA this year. I was asked to judge fantasy. I assume fantasy. Okay. Push that light. Okay, make a small. I can still compete as a judge at MFCA. You just don't judge your own stuff, and best of show is determined by community vote. So the judges don't actually determine best of show. They decide medals. Okay, keep on making little adjustments. All right, now we gotta push the light a little bit more on the chin. I do get to compete at Monty this year, yeah. And as far as like missing competing. No, I don't really mind. I'm happy to judge. I think it's a bit of a responsibility to the community. I think it's an important job. So no, I don't mind judging at all. Somebody's got to do it. Come on, camera. Don't do that. Getting a medal in standard at Monty is quite the accomplishment. For just a tiny bit. There we go. Hello, Craig Zog. All right, how am I doing to on camera versus off camera where I have to really try and be super delicate? Not so bad. There's some parts that still need some work, but we're getting there. No, I just keep my shoulder, like my elbow locked and arm locked in place. So I just try and keep my left arm permanently locked in position so that I don't leave frame. Oh, that's funny. Thanks, Red Razor. I think on a serious answer to that statement or response to that statement, I think that the way the heavy metal team paints does not do any favors to the sculpts, to be honest. Like they have a specific way of painting the armor with like edge highlights and everything that I don't think help out the sculpts very much. All right, let's get a little more skin tone as we get closer to the top of the highlight on the 5 o'clock shadow. Yeah, the feminine faces was specifically. Yeah, let's add a little more light up here. See, we're making really, really tiny adjustments. I don't necessarily think it's that. I just think it's the style of the box art. Like, because when they paint like the non-metallic metal or something on, who is that? Like Dante or who's the Warhammer Fantasy guy? The Slanesh guy. I don't think they're concerned with people being able to replicate that. Sigvald, that's the one. Christian, I'm going to make jokes about you painting Warhammer figures, and then I know all the names of the figures. Right. More small adjustments. Little dot. Okay, so let's get the lips going. So they need to be more pinkish, right? Some might call me an influencer. I mean, they are fun. They're like, Warhammer models are cool, right? Space Marines are cool. I've got nothing against painting some Space Marines. Or really any Warhammer models for that matter. They're rad. I mean, what can I say? That's how most of us started. Right? Don't be a hipster and be like, I'm too cool for Warhammer. Tiny boy. All right, so it's coming along. So here's a tough one. So we've got to paint the upper lip. So we've got to paint the line that kind of goes around the upper lip. And we can't overdo it, because if we overdo it, it'll look silly. But we have to get it in there to give some shape. To the mouth. Giving him the teeth will help too. All right, let's give him some teeth. We're just going to take some of the white, some of this olive, whatever, maybe some of the blue. We can mix like some of these lighter colors together just to make a grayish tone. So like this kind of yellowish gray. And then a bunch of white. Maybe a little more blue. All right, something like this. A very tiny mark for the teeth. May have overdone it a little bit, but that's okay because we can come back. Who is that? Corvus 616. Speaking of Corvus, we're going to do one of these as a Raven Guard with very pale skin. Right, so it's easy enough to come back and kind of fill that in, fix the shape there. So I need to get in between the teeth. If the paint's too thin, it tends to run. No, not a salamander. This guy will have an African skin tone, but it's not really salamander. If you want to see me paint a salamander, I did paint Vulcan, like the Primarch. It's on YouTube. I did a thing where I painted his head. So if you want to watch that, it's on the YouTube. It's the same account name, just Eric Schwinson on YouTube. Got a whole bunch of past videos you can check out. Okay. So let's get the top of his eyelid with this dark brown. Just I'm gonna make the little mark for the top of the eye. If I get it into the eye a little bit, that's okay. Was Landrilo, hello, hi. Did you get to take a peek at the entries in Golden Demon this past Adepticon? If you did, and you happen to recall Mephiston with the moons on the backdrop, that one was mine. I did get a chance to look at them all. I don't remember all of them. Especially the 40k single figures. That's the big category right there, and no, I can't remember all of them. Sorry, man, I wish I could, but I really tend to only remember the ones that are like that particularly like I enjoy. That I'm just like, hey, that's really cool. Well, it's not about the amount of time you spend on your Golden Demon piece, you know. I mean, time in miniature painting is relative. I've painted this face. We've been painting for an hour, right? I've been painting this face for an hour. Which to some people might seem insanely fast, but you always have to remember the hours of painting before. Are you asking me if this will be my entry? No, I'm not entering. This is just for my kill team, man. This is just for fun. I'm gonna roll dice around this thing. Oh, that's bad. I've talked about it before. I have no interest in winning. I don't care about winning the Slayer Sword. It's just not a goal that I have. Well, they can try and use the same colors. If they can use the same colors all they want, but that's why I don't specifically say like what colors, because I don't believe in recipes, right? I'm painting using this palette. I'm mixing all over the place. There's not really any like, oh, use this first, use that first. If they paint using the exact same colors I do and they learn something about those colors, that's a good thing. And I'm used to people like copying, right? Because I paint box arts. Like, it's just to be expected. That eye's jacked up. We will make an attempt to fix it later. The eyes I knew would be something that would be difficult to paint on camera. A quick question. Do you have any recommendation where you could get plinths? That depends on where you're at, damn. I just grabbed like the second thickest. It's not the top. It's not, I don't think it's the most magnification one, but it's like the second most. Miami, Florida. There's a bunch of people you can go. You can check out Joe Werthober, Tarot Model Maker, Ari Models, Jacob Jansen, El Basetta. Lots of places to get plinths. No, I don't mind being copied. It's fine. Imitation is the greatest form of flattering, right? I messed up that other eye so bad. So can you see how I basically got rid of the dark line underneath the right eye? You don't need it. You also have Dino, and this one eye is really small. It's like super small and buried. He's got like a squint going on. Yeah, let's see if we can get it with this. Sorry if you didn't see that. See you tomorrow. Or see you later, I guess. Hi, Sarah Space Slippers. Okay, so what do we got so far? He's looking okay, but we need to push contrast in some areas. So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this. Right? Want some of the skin tone. Maybe a bit of the brown. If we're gonna do his hair like dark brown, I don't even remember. Oh, this guy is a tome keeper. I was like, what do I want to do him as? I'll do him as a tome keeper. I think he's just gonna have brownish hair. So you know what? Let's take some of the brown and mix it with the skin tone. Quick question: when I get to a sticking point on the spirit orc, can I schedule a session and go over that guy in there? No, you can do one. You can do both. It's fine. Who that? He's got his buzz cut going on. I think we're gonna do a nice scar like on the side of his head. All right, so I need to keep pushing the contrast here. Really big, important thing to like define the jawline. Also, I want to get some color in the ear, but I'll define the ear and stuff in a little bit. Sarah Space Slippers, thanks for following. You painted your first miniature today. That's fantastic. Love to hear it. Monument, hello. Hi. How's everyone doing? We're painting Space Marine heads. They're very small. Look at these tiny faces. Bum up, bum up. Bun up, bun up, bun up, bun up. That's as far as I can zoom in. But I can do this. That guy's eye is a little messed up. I need to fix that. Even the camera zooms even more than I can see with these glasses. But this is the one we're working on right now. He's coming okay. Who's that? Brutal Burrito. Hello. All right, let's what kind of camera? It is a Panasonic G95. DC G95. What's more important is the question of what kind of lens is it? And it is a Leica something or other. The lens was more expensive than the camera was. Okay, one little dot. Sapo. Hi, Sapo. Can someone link the glasses again? Hey, I've seen... Hi, Hector. Yes, you've seen them on your Instagram feed? Do you follow? Do you follow along? If not, get out of here. I'm just kidding. You're still welcome. I guess you can hang out. We got to give them time. Well, first, let's do this real quick. Because this is going to help, right? We got to kill the white. Oops, I made a tiny mark on his forehead. That's okay. It's never a big deal. Right? Everything is fixable. Yeah, this is tabletop quality. What are you talking about? No, this is like tabletop plus for me. Because I've done speed painted tabletop figures on the stream before, where it's like we would be halfway done with the whole figure by now. This is me spending a little bit of extra time, you know? Can I ask you, would you more or better? Wait, can I ask what would you more or better to make it a display quality? So the heads are probably the heads are display quality. The bodies are what will be like. I won't go like super nuts on trying to blend everything. I think that's the big difference. And maybe even the heads I would spend if I was like if I wanted to do it for Golden Demon, like if I was really serious about like, all right, I'm gonna do these for Golden Demon, maybe I would spend like an extra hour on each head to like just doubly make sure everything's perfect. I'd probably do stuff like I'm about to do where I go like, you know what? Even though it's not sculpted, he needs like a little dimple right here. So you could do stuff like that, and then I've got to blend that out, make that more subtle. But yeah, there's a level of like obsessive that you have to do to make it like competition quality. You know? What's your favorite scale? And my favorite scale is 75 millimeter. That's my favorite. But they also take the longest. What is that? Bakumaru and Hecta and Brutal Burrito. Thanks for following. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So you know what looks weird about him? Have you guys thought like, hey, there's something weird about this guy's face? What is weird about this dude's face? The man's got no eyebrows. Yeah. I mean, he needs pupils too, but oh, that one's messed up. He's doing the rock eyebrow right now. You know, he's kind of looking like John Cena, honestly. This guy's got a bit of a Cena look. And his name is John Cena. Is it just me? Am I the only one who thinks he looks like John Cena? All right, let's make him, after I fix the eyebrow, we'll make him slightly angrier looking. Got to taper that eyebrow right there. Got to taper it. All right, how do we make him look more angry? So we can make some adjustments to his forehead. We're gonna push the shadows a little bit on his forehead, right? Just a touch. So we do that. Yes, he is. I'm just saying the face shape reminds me of him, and the buzz and the kind of buzz cut. This is what was his name? What's that new Ricky Stanicky? That's it. This is Ramrod. I'm calling him Rod. Right, so we make like ultra tiny adjustments. Really tiny. Then we'll take this mid-tone. Couple little dots to make his brow more angry. He's so mad. He hates the Xenos. Well, he's a scout. He's going to be all stealthy. Now I want to remodel him with a hand that's doing this. All right, check this out. Watch what we're going to do. We're going to take some of this, right? Some of this reddish, and we're going to go like this. We're going to draw a super thin line across his face. So, grabbing the reddish, right? See, it's pretty subtle at the moment. When we take some of the skin tone, this pinkish skin tone, and we cut in. It's okay if it's a little jagged. So we create a little cut scar. He's going to give you the F-bomb. I think that was the name of his finishing move. I don't know. I could be making stuff up. I think John Cena would be a perfect Space Marine. I don't know if he could play us. He's such a handball though, like in most roles, like Peacemaker and stuff. Could he play a like serious stoic Space Marine? All right, how we feeling? Huh? He's looking okay. He looks like a Space Marine. I don't know if I'm going to paint all his hair right now. So we got to draw the shadow of his ear because they're not really sculpted. So we've got to draw in the like deep shadow. Come on, focus. Focus on this Marine. Okay, then we paint the little lobe there and then give the eardrum, some outline. We can actually like paint a little shape inside the ear to give the impression that there's more folds. Mechanized imposter, hello. And yes, I've seen John Cena in the most serious franchise in the world, Fast and the Furious. I watched that on the airplane back from Europe, I'm pretty sure. Back from Italy. It was maybe one of the worst movies I've ever seen. That most recent one was pretty bad. And that's saying a lot because I like some of the other ones. Yeah, the space car is you took it a little too far, guys. All right, you made a rocket ship out of a Fiero, like. All right, I will make the attempt. We're going to make the attempt. Are you ready? If I don't get it on the first try, this is going to have to be one that I have to do off camera. Boom, I'm a beast. Yeah. You guys also held your breath. Nice. All right. One Space Marine head in an hour and basically an hour and a half. Okay. I'm going to take a quick break and then we're going to paint one of the other ones. I will be back in 5-ish. All right, I'm back. Let's give some perspective again. All right. Hi, I'm the fighter that we painted on stream. And I'm the tiny Space Marine head we just painted. Slight difference, guys. Okay. Take a minute to not use the glasses. Okay. Who's next? We want to paint Pale Boy. Mr. Emo Angry Pale Boy. We're going to mix a new shadow tone for him. Let's grab like a slightly purplish tone. Yeah, I'm gonna paint this guy. It's an African skin tone. No, this is not a pet space wolf. This is Pale Boy. You guys can. I'll let you guess what chapter he is. He's gonna have jet black hair. Which chapter could this be? Hi, Mr. Fox. No. Come on, super pale. Where's all my 40K experts in the chat? Super pale skin. Raven black hair. Get it? Raven black hair. Come on. I think you guys are trolling me right now. There you go. Purge the phone. Thank you. Bunch of trolls. Yeah, I think it's like Raven Crow or something like that. Or Crow Raven. Corvus Corax. So we're kind of overdoing the shadows right now. I might have to lift the shadows a little bit, but we'll see as I kind of work through it. Do you like to know the overlap of people who know 40K lore and watch me paint? Yeah, I mean, it's probably not quite the amount as some others. I doubt I'm as heavy on the lore experts as some. Captain Hogwash, I like that name. That's good. All right, we got to keep going with the blue. So the bluish, the pinkish, right? We're trying to make his skin like quite gray. He's super pale, very grayish skin tone. Gotta get some pink in there, you know, but we want it pretty gray. I mean, I'm no super expert. I learned most of what I know. I learned from the books and stuff that I've read or listened audiobooks. Because I'll listen to whatever. I tend to enjoy listening to audiobooks that are like relevant to the thing that I'm painting. It gets me kind of in the like mindset to paint that thing. Russell. Hello, welcome. We'll grab just slightly a bit of the brownish tone. Yeah, if I'm painting like a fantasy figure, I'll listen to fantasy books. If I'm painting a Warhammer figure, I'll listen to some Warhammer. I find it enjoyable. The Nova Prospect with a prime. Thank you. Appreciate it. For the new viewers, for all you new folks that have popped in because this is Warhammer, I do not paint Warhammer all the time. In fact, it's actually pretty rare. I paint a lot of larger scale figures. Paint a bit of everything, you know. But occasionally we would do some Warhammer stuff. Also, if you'd be interested in doing a workshop, this is plug obligation. Here we go. Are you ready? Hixie666, the rate of 33. Hello. Welcome. Hi. Welcome. How are you? How are you doing? What were you doing? Yeah, so this is plug obligation. If you are interested in learning to paint from me, I will be in Dallas in May at the US Open teaching at the Warhammer US Open event, a 2-day workshop on how to paint display miniatures, Warhammer display miniatures. Hi, Jonas. I'm good, thanks, Hixie. We're just painting tiny marine heads here for the viewers just coming in. We're painting some heads. This guy's eyes aren't perfect. I'll probably have to fix him a tiny bit off camera, but hey, it's going all right. That guy's eyes are still messed up too. I have to repaint them. They're bothering me. The things I'll never see, like in hand. All right, we keep pushing the light. Pale boy's got to be more pale. We're going real pale on him. Almost an albino kind of effect. I had heard that actually, Richard. See, it's just ever so subtly pink. This man is ghostly white. It is the Academy of Paint, Matt. What's your Twitch schedule like? I stream every Wednesday. Well, most Wednesdays, unless I'm traveling or for a show or something. I stream every Wednesday about 6 p.m. Eastern until I feel like it. How would I go about painting? I'll you know what? I think I might do some face paint on this guy. I think I might do like some camo like a camo on him because he's a raptor. So I might do like a black camo on his face paint. We'll see if I get to it. But basically, it's like painting anything else. It's like painting a tattoo. You just have to paint over top of it. Maybe he'll have like some, I don't know, like a double streak or something. So here we're trying to get just a bit more, just like the other guy. Make him a little bit more pink around the cheeks and nose. He will not have a 5 o'clock shadow though. That is something we do not want for him. See, the red it's subtle. It's a subtle thing. How long have you been painting, and do you do any other forms of art? I've been painting miniatures for 15 years or something. And yes, I do or used to do, I still draw from time to time, but yes, I also draw occasionally. I wanted to be a comic book artist when I was young. Thanks to the Nova Prospect for the follow. I've said this before, but if you think miniature painting is competitive, comic book field is super competitive. Do I have a favorite comic character? I'll give you one guess, Sapo. Hey, there you go, Jonas. You got it. What red are you using? It is Thor. What red are you using for painting faces? Don't worry about it. It's just a red. I mix it in with the other colors. You glaze it. It's a red. The specific color does not matter. Yes, because Steve Garcia's got good taste, man. Of course he likes Thor. Because he's the best character. Stop doing that thing. It's annoying. Stop blinking. Best Thor is Old Man God Thor. Odin Force Thor when he fights Galactus. If you've never read Jason Aaron's The Mighty Thor, it's pretty good. His run with Gore the God Butcher. It's fantastic. Have you ever thought about painting for the worthy? I've thought about it. I actually wanted to do one this year. It's just finding the time. I've got other obligations, you know. So finding the time to paint for competition can be pretty tough. I've never read Conan, no. Is it good? I mean, I love Frank Frazetta's work on the old Conan books. All right, let's take some more of this blue. We're going to make the side of his head slightly more bluish. I'm going to mix up this kind of gray, more grayish tone. Yeah, never read. Yeah, Frazetta is some kind of Italian cheese. You got it. The goat. It's goat cheese, you know. Who's that? Chabudo. Hello, thanks for following. All right, how we doing on his face? Not bad. He can have a bit more kind of sunken eyes, right? We're okay with that on him. If we want that goth look, we still have to go brighter. I mean, he's already quite pale compared to some of these other guys, but we've got to go more. And we probably need to give him like a little bit of yellow. Some slightly more natural skin tone. It's maybe a little too crazy at the moment. So we can glaze just a little bit. Take one of these intermediate colors here. Then it way down. Give him a little bit of life to his skin. Not too much. But it's, a little bit helps. We don't want him looking undead. So do you think they all have pale skin because of the crow? Cold Warrior 96, thanks for following. Hi. Alright, I really want him to have like kind of creepy sunken eyes. So I'm going to take a bit of the brown. I'm going to go with no. Shabudo, I don't think they can get cancer. I'm pretty sure they're immune to most forms of disease. I mean, they can't even die from old age. I believe they are described as being immortal but not invincible. But anybody can correct me on that. I guess like Nurgle, they can get sick from Nurgle, right? Like super diseases. He's got super bright highlights because he's supposed to be pale, right? But technically, this guy has near the same level brightness as this guy in terms of it's just how much. All right. I'm going to make his ears a slightly more red. Well, his ear, I guess. It's a bit vampire-y. It's a little bit. They're kind of they're spooky boys, I guess. Okay. Get some of the ear painted. Kind of attach this, and then we got to blend it in. All right. That was not a very good job painting the teeth, but I've got to paint his mouth, his whatever that thing's called. His microphone headset. There you go. I like the Atom paints, they're good. They're pretty good. Oh, he's definitely mad at someone. He's my communications guy. He's like, there's aliens over there, get them. Suffer not the Xenos to live. Hello, Hawkwood. All right, so what we need to do. Yeah. Sure. But for me, it's the same thing. All right, this is going to help a lot. See, this whole time I've had him with white hair, with this white mohawk. As soon as I make this black, you're going to see just how much more like pale his skin looks. Because of this magical thing called contrast. All right. Yeah. He's still got to have eyebrows and everything. But I thought I would black some of this stuff out real quick just so you can see what it looks like in proper context. Chabuto with the prime, thank you. Okay. Okay. So that helps somewhat. And I'll fix more of it later, but you can at least see his face kind of framed properly now. Oh, we'll give him some, what's it called too? Well, we've got the black. Does he need some guy liner? We'll go full My Chemical Romance on him. This dude hangs out at the Black Parade, if you know what I'm saying. What? Hey man, watch it. Sleep Token's pretty good. It's not emo. He's looking a little like Shannon Leto, you know, Jared Leto's brother. I give him some of the Shannon Leto eyebrows. You ever seen that guy's eyebrows? They're crazy. Oh, sorry. I've never watched the OC, no. Well, neither does Jared Leto, to be fair. Pretty good chance of some plastic surgery there is all I'm saying. Yeah, his brother's the drummer of 30 Seconds to Mars. Jared's the lead singer and his brother is the drummer. I mean, they could just take really good care of themselves. I don't know. I know he's into some pretty weird, holistic, whatever, spiritual type stuff and does like these weird retreats and things. Oh yeah, this guy's got some crazy eyebrows. Rawr. My hair getting in the way? Is that what that is? Trying to keep it on camera so I can see, and then occasionally I'll look up at the screen and see something in the way. Nope. You forget about that, Richard. Forget about it. No scissors are touching this mane. Also, I'd donate it if I was going to do that. Do I have goals for the length? No, just let it grow. All right. I'm not going to do the eyes yet on him. You saw me do the eyes. It's literally just paint a dot and do it right. There's probably also some small adjustments to do to this guy, but some like really tiny adjustments. But you get the idea. No, I don't want him to be a vampire. He's a Raven Guard. Does he need a feather tattoo on the side of his head? I'm not actually doing that. Walter, the raid. Well, I was going to go take a smoke break, but I'll give it a second. How's it going? What were you doing? That's getting ready to happen for me. Getting ready to travel to Poland and the UK pretty soon. About a month away. Speaking of, well, no one in the UK is still awake right now. No one's watching, but I guess if you're watching this on YouTube, huh? Hey, I'm thinking. The big brain move. The workshop in London is always sold out. Oh. Well, dang, we've got a bunch. I will be in Manchester teaching a workshop in June. If you want to come take the workshop. Let me see. I've got it somewhere. Hold on. I've got a link. Copy text. Bam. 15th and 16th of June. If you want to come paint with me, I will be there. What are you trying for, Walter? Are you doing axe throwing things? The World Championship. I saw there was a bunch of, I think it was like Cornhole Championship also on ESPN the other last week or earlier this week. Ori Twitch, hello. Some huge cornhole tournament. And Trugo. All right, let's put a base coat down on this guy, the snipe. No, he's not a sniper. He's gonna be a shotgun guy. I just liked his like kind of night vision goggles looking thing, so I was like, screw it. The sniper is this guy. He's going to be a raptor. Are they? I didn't know they're big. I mean, it's a fun game. I guess it's a little more accessible than axe throwing. It's pretty easy to get into cornhole. Is his name what? What? What are you saying to me right now? You making puns again, Richard? You making bad ones? We're gonna have to do something about this? Yeah, he is a raptor. Yeah, the raptor chapter, as in raptor as in a bird. Wrong kind of raptor. A bird of prey. Feels odd to the raptor chapter as birds when exonite planets with dinosaurs exist. I mean, but the term raptor refers to like a bird of prey. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break again, and then when I come back, and we'll continue on his face. This guy's face. Painting tiny faces stressed me out. All right. Let's get back to painting. African skin tone. So, African skin tones have a lot of reddish in the shadows, right? So this is like red oxide and brown. So don't be afraid to go a bit reddish in the shadow. Come on, camera. Don't be afraid to go a bit reddish in the shadows. And then, if the sky is blue, where can you enter absentee entries at Nova? No, I don't think so. I think you have to be there in person. We're going to build up the light. By just adding a bit of this cold blue to it. I'm not going to make any comment on that one, Froggy. Okay. So, keep building up the light here. I'm going to get his jawline nice and defined. These Space Marine chiseled jaw lines. Yay, a miniature painter. Yeah, I paint minis. Hi. It's what I do. All day, every day. How did you get into the business straight out of school? How did I get into the business of painting miniatures? I went to a bunch of competitions. I did pretty well in some competitions, and then some brands started asking me to paint figures for them. if you want to do the same, if you want to do this professionally, you want to paint box arts for a living, I suggest going to shows. People need to see your work. All right, so I'm kind of overdoing it here on purpose. This is a little exaggerated highlight, but I can always glaze back on top. When I go to blend, it's going to reduce some of this contrast. Hey, can you make one of the Space Marine heads the bald one and albino? That would be... He's pretty albino right there. That guy's pretty pale. All right, so I really want to define around the nose, right? And get the bridge of the nose. Do you think Space Marines who... There are no janitor Space Marines. That's what servitors are for. They have serfs and other things. Hi, Cryptic. How are you? Okay. Got to keep making small adjustments. All right, now we're going to really push a little bit of this blue into the skin tone. Are they all going to be the same faction? They're Death Watch, so technically they're all Space Marines from different chapters. But they work together. If you don't know what the Death Watch are, they're like Delta Force. They're like a special forces group that they get Space Marines from a bunch of different chapters. They're the best army to play if you're like me and you're like, I don't know which one I want to paint. I want to paint all of them. I will paint all of them, thank you very much. Because who doesn't want to paint them all, you know? All right, so I'm going to grab a little bit of black here. Like actual black. This is to do like just some very deep shadows under like his jaw. I really need to push a little darker. Not too much though. Don't do too much. Still mostly brown, but we need to get some extreme shadow. Little bit of black. Do you guys have a favorite chapter? Space Marine? I don't have really a particular one. Ultramarines. Yeah, Ultramarines are good. Dark Angels. Heretic. I've read the book, the Lion book where he comes back. It was pretty good. So, keep making small adjustments. We're going to mix a little bit of this also. We're going to get like a final light here. We can actually use a little bit of the purplish. maybe mixed with some white. Because the shine on black skin tone is actually still quite bright. It's just very small. It's like a little dot. What are some colors I enjoy painting, but aren't my favorite colors objectively? You know, I don't know if I have like a favorite color, to be honest. I mean, I like painting a bit of everything. I think blues and greens tend to be pretty easy to paint compared to like oranges and reds. It's very easy to like add tonal variation to blues and greens. I think it's typically known that yellow can be one of the more difficult colors to paint just due to the property of the pigment. That's probably a little too much. We want to give him a little bit of like a dimple here over on this side of his mouth. So what that's going to take is we're going to create a bit of a shadow there first and then a little highlight. So it's like the corner of his mouth, right? We could create a little dimple like that. So here we're kind of creating volumes that aren't maybe necessarily sculpted, but they add a little bit to the shape and character, right? of the face. And then we grab a little bit of this. Right, see, now you can see that he's got that little dimple in the side of the mouth. Okay, let's go slightly more reddish for his lips. We'll just glaze some red in there. Okay. So this kind of skin tone can be a careful balancing act. You got to make it dark, but you can't go crazy. All right. Now let's give him the lower eyelid. We're going to have to like basically freehand it. Got to breathe a little bit, you know? Stressful work painting these tiny faces. Here's what I need to do on the side of the nose. It's a little too dark at the moment. I need to reduce this transition a tiny bit. Try and smooth that out some. Okay. Lurking? That's fine. I think we're almost done, honestly. I think we got a couple little touches to do on this guy. Then I think we are about done. And we've painted 3 faces. Gone a little longer than 3.5 hours. That's not too bad. All right, let's paint his eyes real quick. The top's a little wrong. There we go. Yes, this will go on YouTube. All the streams go on YouTube. There we go. Okay. You want me to black out there around the what's it called real quick, just to see without the white, to clean up the edge? Let's do that real fast. Oh, sorry, but you get what I'm doing. Just painting the headset. So uno. Uno. Yes. Yes. No, it is A1. Yeah. Like, it sounds weird. Now he'll have fancy goggles later, but this is about painting faces, not about painting goggles. There's about 9,000 tutorials online on how to paint gems and lenses. All right, so there, now you can at least see, like, with the kind of the black around his face, And yeah, I still got to do his eyebrows and paint the actual dots of the eyes, but okay. So these are done. These are not. He still needs some work. I need to be able to see him up close. I like this. This one's going okay. Now I'm not thinking John Cena. Now I'm looking at him like, almost looks like BJ Blagojevich or whatever from that game. Wolfenstein. So, Space Marine heads. Which one's your favorite? So, which one's your favorite, huh? Yeah, me too. I still like the Space Marine or the Space Wolf. It's the beard, man. I think it's actually just the best face sculpt among them, too. This guy needs to be fixed a little bit also. His eyes are weird.